Hello, good morning, everybody. Joey J. Ping here. Respect My Region. Here today on the Morning Joint Podcast, Episode 6. I have my co-host and co-producer here today, Hannah Gershowitz. What's good?
Hello, good morning, everybody, or
Good
almost
morning, good
afternoon
morning.
if you're here on the East Coast.
Yeah, we're almost getting to the afternoon out there. How's life going for you out there? Are you in Florida? Are you in Georgia? Where are you at?
Right now, I'm in Savannah, Georgia. The weather's been incredible. It's been like 60, 70 degrees every day. So I've been outside. It's been really crowded in town, which is kind of nice, kind of not.
That's what we like to hear. Nice weather, doing good, getting solid. Okay. Everybody, today we are on episode 6 of the Morning Joint Podcast. For those of you that are unfamiliar, what we do is we share updates and news and trending stories that is curated by Hannah. She is our head editor for Respect My Region. So she has identified probably 10 to 15 stories that all apply to the world of music, to the world of cannabis, to the world of CBD and psychedelics. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so first things first. Hannah, am I doing the yellow or am I doing the blue? I always forget.
The yellow. You're the yellow.
Easy. Look, shameless. I am just not sure. So let me see what we got. All right, I got to light this joint. So just so you guys know, I'm about to smoke on what's called a King Roll. This was a Bud Tender exclusive, meaning that they made this cantaloupe Kush specifically for Bud Tender promos. Look at this cute little guy. Ooh, so cute. Little half
Oh,
gram
nice.
infusion.
Perfect for
Okay.
8:30 a.m.
Ooh, and it tastes all fun and fruity flavored. Ooh. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm doing the yellow ones. We're gonna start. Last week I started off with music. Today we're gonna start off with cannabis. Okay. So Hannah, I'm gonna boot you off the screen. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. I'll bring you back here shortly. Okay.
All right, take it away.
Ready, break. All right, guys. Let me light this joint up real quick. Here we go. And without further ado, give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I get this this YouTube stream real quick. I'm gonna be able to share this. All right, you guys. So the first story of the day: Kentucky Democrats launch a big marijuana legislation push. What will actually pass? Right. All right. So we're live over here. Let me grab this link. Will actually pass, right? There we go. All right. So Kentucky Democrats launch a big marijuana legalization push, but what can actually pass? Kentucky House and Senate Democrats want to legalize marijuana, and they're not waiting on Republicans to do it. So what is gonna go down? All right. Let me email this to myself. Link and send. All right. So, meanwhile, a prominent Republican legislator says his bill that would legalize some forms of medical marijuana is much more likely to pass than the Democrats' far more liberal proposal. This is a classic example where Kentucky, the conservative states, they're just too busy focused on politics. It's too much of a liberal agenda. It's too much of a this. It's too much of that. Like at some point or another, can you guys just sit in a room and smoke a joint and get on the same page so that way people like me or Hannah or other medical patients, we can go in your fucking state and safely be there, safely spend our tourist money. You know, we make 3 to 10 grand a month. Why can't I go to Kentucky and spend that money safely? Because politics. So the acronym stands for Legalize, Expunge, Treat, and Tax. So the Democratic legislators announced the Let's Grow Act on Thursday, which would legalize cannabis for both medical and recreational use in Kentucky. So they've got a new act they're trying to push through, a little bit liberal, not conservative enough for the people that are making decisions there. Who knows? Make no mistakes, Kentucky are growing cannabis. They are selling cannabis. They are consuming cannabis, Robert said. We just aren't regulating it for their safety or benefiting from the tax revenue it should be generating. It is very simple. This is not that hard. You guys got to get it together. Okay, next story. Shout out to Kentucky doing their fucking thing. All right, 1 second. Next story. All right. So up next, we have nearly all illegal marijuana dispensaries are shut down in East County. This is east of San Diego. So one thing that a lot of people don't know is that not all not all counties in California are legal. Not all cities have legal cannabis. So like in East County, again, is out there near San Diego. Weed has been illegal. It's like some places are able to have regulated shops, others are not. Basically, since 2016, but in the last few years, the unincorporated parts of the county just haven't been able to stay compliant or been able to be approved to be compliant, or it just hasn't straight up been legalized for them to do it, which is super frustrating because San Diego, Orange County, Long Beach, all these places have a ton of tourism, and you just unfortunately don't you just don't get the same experience, and it's not safe. Here's an example. Chula Vista, a city where many illegal dispensaries were concentrated, used the same strategy and closed down all illegal shops within its city limits in 2020. So it's just tough. Shutting down unregulated illegal marijuana dispensaries required a new level of innovation and collaboration rather than playing a game of whack-a-mole, with dispensaries being shut down one day but popping up elsewhere a few days later. Now, this goes back to like a story that I once saw in Toronto about how Canada's market used to have a ton of different trap shops opening up, these traditional pop-up dispensaries, and it got to the point where they literally had to put up cement barriers outside of shops so that way another dispensary or another entrepreneur couldn't come in and just keep doing keep trapping, keep on trapping. All right, hold on. This infused joint is going out because it's too wet. All right. All right. So up next, we have Michigan recall. Oh, this is not good. This is not good, you guys. Michigan marijuana recall reversed, which means they're now allowed to sell that weed. What the hell is that? How is that safe for the customers? Michigan marijuana recall reversal. Let businesses sell contaminated cannabis? Are you serious? All right, here we go. February 18th, mlive.com. More than 500 ounces of potentially contaminated marijuana, including some that tested positive for a fungus that can lead to lung infections or death, was quietly returned to store shelves in Michigan late last year, an MLive investigation revealed. Wow. The action was the latest in a chain of events set in motion by a November 2021 recall of nearly 64,000 pounds of marijuana deemed potentially unsafe by the state's marijuana regulatory agency, otherwise known as the MRA. Doesn't that sound just like some crazy evil legislation group? The recall was prompted by a lack of faith in results from Viridis, a Michigan-based laboratory with 2 locations. Retests following the recall found some of cannabis contained higher than allowable levels of yeast and mold, and in some cases the potentially dangerous banned pathogenic fungus Aspergillus, which can cause lung infections leading to death. So, however, when a state judge reversed parts of the recall, state regulators said they had few options but to release the marijuana that failed testing for possible sale. In fact, emails obtained by MLive via the Freedom of Information Act show at least 9 growers or retailers pressured the state to release their product from holds, despite the fact that it failed testing. Jesus Christ. How is that okay? How is that safe? I cannot fathom how the state could be pressured by these farmers, these labs, these brands, and put this bad, unsafe weed back into the market. Holy shit. Holy shit. That is disgusting. That is so disgusting. MRA spokesman David Harns told MLive on January 13 that nearly 32 pounds, 513 ounces of marijuana, nearly, failed safety testing, yet made it to store shelves with no clear indicator on packaging notifying customers of potential danger. Oh my God. This product has been sold or is currently available for sale. There were 2,475 other individual products, items not sold as loose flower, potentially pre-roll joints though, that also failed testing and were cleared for sale? Are you fucking serious? Oh my God. Harden said that figure doesn't include an additional unidentified amount of failed marijuana remaining at processing or grow facilities that had yet to ship to retail stores. I'm dead. Well, I'm not going to Michigan at all to go buy any tree. Off top. Y'all ain't catching me in Michigan anytime soon, bro. All right. An email sent to the MRA, 2 representatives from Divine Buds identified as Person A, Person B, asked for clearance of marijuana that tested positive for Aspergillus, considered to be one of the most dangerous contaminants the state looks for. Damn, they list these straight up people. Samara Yokana and Amanda Janowski. Damn. In a December 10th email, MRA lab specialist Dr. Patrice R. Fields notified Yakana that some of the marijuana he and Janowski sought clearance for tested positive for asbestos. In response, Yakana asked Price to look at the original testing, indicating that despite failed retesting, the marijuana made safety standards prior to the recall. The MRA's recall pertained to any marijuana flower tested by Veritas Labs, which operates labs in Lansing and Bay City. Yo, I got to switch to a different story because this is just way too negative. This is fucking bad. Veritas, y'all are. This is no bueno. The brands and the labs and the other people involved. This is not good. Michigan, get your shit together. I know this doesn't represent the entire state or represent all the brands, but holy shit, this is not good. This is not good. We definitely need to get some some kind of enforcement in to cover this shit. This is just disgusting. I'm certainly not smoking not shit from Michigan. Like, okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's see what else we got. Like M Live called all kinds of people. People didn't respond. Judges' orders. People like this is just crazy. This is just too dramatic. Like weed should be way more simple than that. And instead, they're making it hella difficult. All right, Schumer plans to drop cannabis legalization bill in April. So this story coming out of cannabisnow.com. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced recently that he plans to introduce the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act in the U.S. Senate in April, which committee hearings to follow soon after. So that's exciting. Marijuana policy is a reform for me. Schumer, a Democrat and a senior U.S. Senator from New York, made his comments. That was a February 4th event. In the coming weeks, we're ramping up our outreach and we expect to introduce final legislation. Our goal is to do it in April. So that's exciting. What does that mean? Under the CAOA, marijuana will be removed from the list of regulated drugs under the Federal Controlled Substances Act, and cannabis would instead be regulated in tax like alcohol and tobacco. So that's huge. The measure includes social equity provisions to expunge convictions for low-level federal marijuana offenses and establish a federal tax on marijuana products. That's kind of a no-brainer, with revenue dedicated to grant programs designed to invest in communities disproportionately harmed by the war on drugs. So most people in the cannabis industry are going to sit there and say like, oh, no, we don't want cannabis legalized. We don't want the federal, the taxes. How do you guys expect weed to be everywhere? How do you guys expect taxes and all these states and I think in Colorado a lot of money went to teachers. Like, how do you guys expect these benefits to really reach all these people if we don't actually federally legalize it? Like, how do you expect things to really change for a significantly larger portion of people who need cannabis in their lives without falling on our face first in terms of a federal legalization? So I just need the entire cannabis industry to just be a little bit more open to what federal legalization is going to look like, what it can look like, and also to the fact that whatever launches is not going to be what's around forever. Whatever happens first, it will change and change and change and change. That is how things go in America. So let's see, what do we got next? A new bill aims to cut water off for Oregon's illegal cannabis grow. So I remember reading about this, about how Oregon was really dealing with a ton of illegal cannabis grows. CBD popped up, and it just kind of everybody started growing CBD in Oregon, and a lot of it's hot CBD, and they're just really selling it as weed. So a new bill passed by the House Committee on Agriculture, Land Use, and Water aims to cut off Oregon's illegal cannabis operations right at the source by regulating growing water. And if enacted, House Bill 4061 would grant Oregon regulators authority over water hauling practices and would require growers and water haul companies to keep and prepare records for a minimum of 12 months. Additionally, the bill would recriminalize the use of pumped groundwater to irrigate illegal cannabis grow operations. The legislature's summary of the bill outlined the urgent need to address the growing illicit cannabis market along with its many impact on Oregon's residents, stating illegal cannabis operations are using surface and groundwater without water rights, depleting limited water resources for legitimate agriculture, recreational, residential, municipal, and other uses. Oregon has been having some major issues with the number of illegal cannabis operations and grows and things like that. It's been that way for a long time. But it just seems to be getting worse and worse due to just the amount of licenses that they're giving out, and I guess I would say the bandwidth or the lack of bandwidth by the Oregon Cannabis Oversight Group. So whoever that team is, whoever those people are, they're definitely just spread too thin. Okay. All right. Shout out to koin.com for that article. Okay, here we go. We have a pretty dope announcement in terms of cannabis brand. If you guys are familiar with the cannabis company called 22 Red, owned by Shavo, I forget his last name. I believe he was one of the people in. I'm blanking on the band. Shavo Odayan is thrilled to announce their brand placement with industry forerunner STIIIZY, top shelf premium option into the STIIIZY locations. I believe they have 16 dispensary locations and a number of other co-branded stores. The soft launch literally begins tomorrow. So February 22nd, you will be able to pick up 22 Red in a variety of STIIIZY stores. Currently, 22 Red products are available in California, Nevada, and Arizona. I don't know what strains they carry. I know that in the past it has been like I've smoked some OGs, I've smoked some gelato crosses and some sherb crosses. I feel like so that's pretty exciting. Big congrats to 22 Red for hitting the shelves of STIIIZY. That's very exciting. All right, and then I've got music and sports coming up here as well. So, this is exciting. Kid Cudi founded an AR music app called Encore, and it actually launched with $9 million in funding. So let me pull this up for you guys. Coming out of music business worldwide, Encore, an interactive live performance platform co-founded by Kid Cudi, has launched the Studio app. $9 million raise led by Battery Ventures and other investments from 468 Capital, Parade Ventures, Nomad Ventures, Moving Capital, Kayak Ventures, and Gangels. That's super dope. Encore is a tool for musicians to release new music and host conversations and interactive experiences with fans. Through Encore, artists can create and perform live in custom augmented reality environments, essentially developing a stage show through their motherfucking phones. That's fire. Man, I tell you what, man, technology, AR, VR, the ability for you to create a true experience from your home, whether it's podcasting or performing. I could be singing and rapping right now, hitting some moves. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty exciting. Big shout out to Kid Cudi for creating this opportunity for people. Fans participate via microtransactions in the form of a 10-cent clap, which can be used to watch live shows, chat with an artist, and interact. Claps are split 80-20 between Encore and the creator, with 80% to the artist, says the company. While in private beta, hundreds of artists, including SSG Kobe, Kyle, Too Short, and the Cool Kids, created and performed Encore shows to tens of thousands of fans, says Encore, and were collectively clapped almost 1 million times. Headquartered in LA, Encore is led by a team of artists, creatives, and technology entrepreneurs, all aiming to democratize the music industry. Encore is co-founded by award-winning artist Kid Cudi, Chief Creative Officer, Hollywood producer, screenwriter, and director Ian Edelman as the president, and technology entrepreneur Jonathan Gray as CEO. Live Nation experimented with integrating AR products into select festival apps in 2019, but Encore's announcement ties into a ramping up of company increasingly investing into AR technology. So it's very clear that AR and VR and all those kinds of things are just going to really take over the ecosystem for experiential based performances. So I'm pretty excited to see how that goes. I know for a fact that in the next 10 years, I'm going to host one of these two. So up next, coming out of, again, musicbusinessworldwide.com, Snoop Dogg sells over $44 million worth of Stashbox NFTs in just 5 days. So Snoop Dogg released his 20th studio album February 11th, Back on Death Row, and came after the news February 9th that the hip-hop legend also had acquired the Death Row Records brand from the MNRK Music Group. Death Row was his debut label, and Back on Death Row is the first album through Death Row Records, now under Snoop Dogg's ownership. Along with the album release on Friday to all streaming services, distributed by Create Music Group, Snoop Dogg also announced that he would be releasing the album on the blockchain through a partnership with blockchain gaming group, gaming platform Gala Games via his Stashbox NFTs sold on Gala's new Gala Music store. Gala Music claims to be the first decentralized record company, which aims to show fans and supporters the power of listen to earn artists, the power of support in the Gala Games ecosystem, and music corporations, the power of reasonable and fair allocation of rewards. So there are some exciting things going on in the world of music technology. Please be sure to check out Gala Games, the Stashbox NFTs if you're into that stuff. I love NFTs and love looking at the art, and I love walking around the real world and seeing NFTs. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see if I've got anything else. Oh, one last thing. I hope that you guys enjoyed All-Star Weekend. I did not hear for the NBA. I did not hear great things about the dunk contest, but we did hear great things about the verses between Allen Iverson and Tracy McGrady, aka T Mac, T Mizzle. Um, T Mac, one of the greatest basketball players in my opinion of all time, threw the ball off the backboard to dunk it. Like, ain't nobody else did that in a game like that. Allen Iverson, I mean, the greatest pound for pound player ever to be in the NBA. So big love and respect to both those guys. And shout out to Bleacher Report and Versus for collaborating to create this project. Highlight for highlight competition. It was great because you had the crossover, Allen Iverson's crossover where, of Michael Jordan. Then you had T Mac with all these different dunks. You have more like Allen Iverson both led scoring, T Mac led scoring. Like they were really going back to back. It was really an incredible time. T Mac was really crushing it as a scorer back in the day, and Allen Iverson, again, in my opinion, best pound for pound player to ever play. Then of course there's T Mac with the iconic moment of 13 points in 35 seconds in 2004, and then you have Allen Iverson dropping a defender twice on his way to a rim on an easy dunk or layup. Like there's the classic 2001 NBA Finals moment where Allen Iverson stepped over Tyrone Lue. Like, that was a crazy play. So in terms of who I think really won, I definitely believe that like the size advantage that Tracy McGrady has over Allen Iverson makes it a little bit unfair. But I have to say that T Mac was fucking incredible. But again, Allen Iverson being a 6 foot and is incredible and Hall of Famer and shaking, he crossed everybody up in the NBA. I got to give it to him. So big shout out to Allen Iverson. I'm going to go ahead and bring Hannah back on. So big thank you guys, for hanging out with me. This is episode 6 of the Morning Joint podcast. Hannah, let's get
Hello, guys. Good job, Joey. Thank you for covering all that.
It was a lot. I appreciate you curating all that. A lot of good news going on, right? There's a lot of states and cities that are trying to legislate and legalize cannabis. It's interesting that we've got Republicans and conservatives trying to help create bills to push things through. I'm really hoping that people realize that the cannabis industry can not only provide financial opportunities, but also some just physical opportunities as well, like patient access. Imagine less people in hospitals. Imagine less people going to the ER and urgent care for certain things. Less people having to go to drug rehabilitation sites and things like that.
Yeah, the less need for prescription medications.
We just don't really know what the true impact of cannabis is going to be yet, because it's just not federally legal and there's no real studies and tests and the government backing to really identify the true wins that we can get from it. So, but anyways, thank you. All right, y'all. Hannah, you're up. Run it.
All right, let's go. So today I'm talking about similar topics, cannabis, music, and adding on psychedelics to that. So I'm going to start off with cannabis news, and then we have a couple psychedelic things, and then a little heavier on the music side this week. So first off, we have, I hope I pronounce this right, Ayr Wellness is a huge vertically integrated multi-state operator. They have cannabis dispensaries all over the country, in Pennsylvania, in Florida, operated under names like Liberty Health Sciences and Nature's Medicine, Garden State in New Jersey. So they have just announced that they've closed an acquisition with the Massachusetts-based cannabis company LEVIA. So LEVIA is also a huge cannabis company. They focus on cannabis beverages like seltzers and water-soluble tinctures. So this is huge because Ayr Wellness is one of the largest cannabis companies in the country because they're a multi-state operator. And then LEVIA is definitely a leading company when it comes to cannabis beverages as well. So if you're in any of, let me name the states out that they're in. So if you're in Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Nevada, or Arizona or Florida, keep an eye out for LEVIA products there. Next up, we got not really news, but this is an emerging market, so I wanted to go over this recent article that we threw together on Respect My Region. So we covered some Kansas City medical dispensaries. So Kansas City, Missouri. Honestly, I thought it was Oklahoma for before. I was like, I didn't realize Kansas City was in Missouri. But so we're talking Missouri cannabis here. Kansas City, we have some of the top medical dispensaries there. They're only medically legal there. So some of the top medical dispensaries there are Fresh Karma dispensaries. We have From the Earth medical marijuana dispensary. Let's see. Someone says that this is the most comfortable experience that they had. They didn't have a great experience at another dispensary, but then they went there and they felt very comfortable. And it seems like that's located in downtown, Brookside, and West Side. We got Besame Wellness Medical Marijuana Dispensary, and they actually won Best Customer Service Award by The Pitch in 2021. So, you're probably going to get good customer service there if you haven't had great experience at other dispensaries. Definitely check that one out. Next, we have Feel State Dispensary. So this dispensary, let's see if they have multiple locations. It looks like maybe just one location. I'm sure they have multiple. Sorry, we didn't put that information here. Next, we have Terabis. So Terabis is, they actually shared our post on Twitter, so shout out to them. They're one of the leading cannabis dispensaries over in Kansas City and in Missouri State as a whole. They specialize in just being like extremely knowledgeable and being able to answer more like technical questions about like cannabinoid receptors and how to match the right products with you based on your needs and how your body works. So those are 5 of the top Kansas City cannabis dispensaries, medical dispensaries. So if you're over in Missouri, head over to respectmyregion.com to learn more about those dispensaries. Next up, we have some psychedelic news. So it looks like, just from doing my market research, all the psychedelic stuff, legalization and therapeutically and different studies and research has been ramping up a ton in 2022. So right now, this article by Psychedelic Spotlight, the Psychedelics news source, they did an article, When Will Psilocybin Be Available in Oregon and What's the Holdup? So they kind of covered when, like, kind of what's going on and when Oregon will see the legalization of psychedelics for therapeutic reasons. So they say it's still a bit murky there. It's still kind of not very transparent. When the legalization is going to happen there for therapeutic, or hold on, I'll read this. So in late 2022, Oregon made headlines as the first state to legalize psilocybin for therapeutic use. So they have legalized it for therapeutic use, but they haven't put the systems in place to actually start allowing doctors to provide the psychedelics for patients to use. So it's legal, but there's no system in place. Similar to how, like, different states, how cannabis may be legal, such as in New York. Cannabis is legal there, but they don't have the system in place to sell it yet. So that's what they're kind of working on right now. So it looks like, so Oregon voters approved Measure 109 in November 2022, and that allows for the manufacturing, delivery, and administration of psilocybin at supervised licensed facilities. But the initiative also imposed a 2-year developmental period during which the state government should determine and set regulations for implementation. So that's where they're kind of at now, is that 2-year period. So November 2022, we're kind of nearing that end of that 2-year period. So residents of Oregon are wondering, is stuff happening? Is this actually a 2-year period? Is stuff going to happen after 2 years? So it looks like the board had recently drafted rules for the program. And some of these rules include that the different species of mushrooms, while there's several different species of mushrooms that are known to produce psilocybin, manufacturers will only be able to cultivate Psilocybe cubensis, aka cubes, which is like the normal mushroom. When people talk about mushrooms, that's typically what they're talking about. Manufacturers are prohibited from marketing to children, including animals or characters. Similar to cannabis, professionals administering psilocybin must have 120 hours of instructional time and 40 hours of practice time. Psilocybin products can only be designed for oral consumption. Psilocybin service will only be available to residents who are 21 and over. So it looks like they've kind of crafted these rules and the system, and they're just kind of working to actually put that in place. So it's unclear when this will be in place, but it's looking like it's possible for the end of the year or hopefully by next year. Next, we have more psychedelic news. So this is more on the research side, and this is pretty huge. So this article is from SciPost, and it's psychedelics can alter a person's core metaphysical beliefs for as long as 6 months after use, studies suggest. So this study says that findings from the journal, the Scientific's report, suggest that psychedelic drugs can alter a person's core belief about the nature of reality, consciousness, and free will. After taking psychedelics, patients' views tended to sway from physicalism to supernatural beliefs, and these changes lasted up to 6 months. The researchers say the findings raise ethical considerations. Metaphysical beliefs are ideas about the fundamental nature of reality. For example, physicalism maintains that reality is entirely physical, and idealism maintains that reality is a construct of the mind. Given that psychedelics can induce transformative experiences and spiritual encounters, a team of researchers wondered whether these drugs might have the capacity to alter core metaphysical beliefs. So it looks like, this was a study done. It says that the participants completed a survey before they did the ceremony, and then 4 weeks later, and then 6 months later. The survey included measures of metaphysical beliefs, which included physicalism/materialism, idealism, and dualism, as well as free will and determinism. So it showed that, according to the findings, the participants' beliefs veered away from physicalism after the ceremony, and the shift was significant at both the 4-week and 6-month follow-ups. The deviations from physicalism was strongest among respondents who were first-time users of psychedelics. The survey also revealed increases in fatalistic determinism, the belief in fate and a predetermined future. These increases were present at the 4-week mark, but were only maintained at the 6-month mark among those who were new to psychedelics. So it sounds like so far that the effects have been lasting. So hopefully that the study continues and they kind of look at that after a year as well, and even further after that. But it looks really promising. So hopefully this study is going to impact the legalization of psychedelics around the country. Next up, we have music news. So going into music news, I'm going to start off with kind of some big news of a unique kind of first of its kind partnership in the music industry. So Red Rocks Amphitheater, one of the most legendary, iconic venues in literally the country, maybe even the world, has teamed up with Propeller, who is a social impact organization, and they teamed up to reward concert goers through social impact initiatives. So we covered this over at Respect My Region, so you can head over to our website to learn more about this, but I'm going to go over a little bit of it. So donations in social justice can now allow you to receive more than just good karma. Propeller has announced its first of a kind partnership with Red Rocks Amphitheater to host many sweepstakes throughout the 2022 and 2023 seasons, and this includes one that you're actually able to enter in now. So Propeller aims to be a catalyst for social change by leading more concert goers into action for the community. So the company hosts a website that facilitates charitable action with exclusive prizes like upgraded seats, exclusive merchandise, meet and greets, and more. So pretty much in exchange for charitable actions such as like signing petitions or I don't know the exact things, but I'm guessing it's stuff like signing petition. I know signing petitions is one. I'm sure there's stuff like reaching out to local politicians, stuff along those lines. And when you do these things, you gain more like tickets, I believe, and then you can put those tickets towards entering the sweepstakes and the giveaways. So right now they have one so the first Red Rock sweepstake is live right now. It ends April 27th, and it's a $3,500. It's worth $3,500, and it's to see. So you get a free round trip flight and a stay at a 4-star hotel to get to see Kaleo, which is a Grammy Award nominated Icelandic rock band, for free at Red Rocks in Denver. Additionally, you'll get a signed Gibson guitar and an autographed Red Rocks poster. So you can go to our website to read more about that if you're interested. Next up, we have some emerging artists. So this article is over on our website as well, Respect My Region. So we got 10 hip hop groups that are buzzing right now. So hip hop groups, like when you think of that, you can think back to many iconic hip hop groups like NWA, Wu-Tang Clan, or some newer ones like ASAP Mob, Odd Future, Brockhampton. Huge hip hop groups, but you don't really hear too much about like smaller and emerging hip hop groups. But we did our research and we've had some on our radar for a little while now, and there's a ton of rising hip hop groups that are out there that are making dope music and kind of taking what the hip hop groups did back in the day and kind of making it modern and putting their own idea into it, and even being more experimental, because a lot of these groups are kind of going, the base of it is hip hop, but they're going into other genres like jazz and R&B and pop and hyper pop and just, crazy experimental stuff. But yeah, nothing really beats the chemistry of a bunch of musicians in a room. So music created by music groups and collectives is just, next level. So 10 of hip hop groups that are actively rising right now that we have our eyes on include 99 Neighbors, which is definitely my favorite of this whole list. So they're a rap group from Burlington, Vermont. They have about a little less than 10 members. They're signed to Warner Records. My favorite song by them is Fuck No, really good song, but they have a ton of others that a ton of other songs that are pretty popular, and their genres, they really switch genre. Like they'll have one song that is hip hop and another song that's just kind of like a light, soft, like indie rock type song. Yep. Collin loves 99 Neighbors. Let's go. Next we got Clipping. So Clipping is a bit different than, the typical hip hop groups, because they have more like gruesome and horrific bars mixed and like a dark and gritty tone, versus a lot of these hip hop groups are more of like a fun, just like giddy type thing. So Clipping, they are based in Los Angeles. They take heavy inspiration from the dark and disturbing nature of horror movies. It looks like they have 3 members. They have 7 albums out already. They've collaborated with Benny the Butcher, JPEG Mafia, and more. I've heard a few of their songs. Definitely a fan of them. I love heavier hip hop like that. So if you're a fan of, heavier hip hop like Suicide Boys or City Morgue, anything like that, you would probably like them. Next we got Lords of Dogtown. I really like their name. I don't know what it means, but so they're from Southern California. It's a 6-man crew. They met up in high school. I don't know if they're still in high school or not. But it looks like there's 5 members. They've already released their debut self-titled album, and they're still making music. They have kind of sounds like reminiscence of like the softer side of XXXTentacion. But they blend many different genres, and they can go from like hype with like a youthful energy to kind of on the softer, more mellow side. Next up, we have AG Club. This is one of the bigger artists on this list. So AG Club, aka the Avant-Garde Club. They're from East Bay, California. I believe there's only 4 of them. But yeah, they've been buzzing for a little while now. I'm a huge fan of them. I can't remember what the one song that I have on my playlist right now, but it looks like some of their popular songs are Memphis Part 2 and YouTube 2 MP3. Word. Terpy Time says Lords of Dogtown was a skate group. Yeah, that makes sense. Next up, we got Cool Ass People. So this is a 6-person collective from all over the country, but they're currently based over in Atlanta, I believe. So they have about 1, 2, 3, like 6. Yeah, 6. Yeah, I already said that. Yeah, so they take influence from groups like Outkast, Wu-Tang Clan, Brockhampton. They've kind of got that energetic, playful sound to them. Next up, we got Bill and Park. I added a few of their songs to my playlist once I heard them. I really enjoyed their music. So they're from West Los Angeles. And it looks like there's 3 members that have really strong chemistry. They have their own style, and they rap over beats that are reminiscent of 90 influences. Yeah, next up we got See You Soon. So they're from Florida. Shout out. They're a 9-person collective. And they create hip hop, but they influence sounds from house music and R&B. So it kind of creates like a pretty unique beats, and they have pretty catchy hooks over them. So they're definitely the type of artist that's gonna, get you singing along and playing on repeat. Next up, we got Rock Collective. So they're a 10-piece hip hop group. They're from New Zealand. And they have a vintage hip hop sound with some modern twists. Next up, we have Injury Reserve, which is another bigger one on this list. So this was a 3-piece group, but unfortunately, one of the members, Groggs, passed away recently. But the group, the other 2 members, which are Nathaniel and Parker, they're still performing and making music. Yeah. Last up, we got Forever Golden. So they're definitely a little bit different from the rest of this group. They're on the softer side. They focus more on lyricism, and yeah, they're from Detroit, Michigan. There's 6 of them, and their first EP was released in 2018. And that's all for our 10 hip hop groups that we have our eyes on right now. This is definitely, if you're a fan of hip hop, check out this article, check out these artists. Like, I'm a fan of pretty much all. I mean, I listened to all these groups, and I liked all of them. I didn't not like any of them. Or so next up, I'm gonna run through this one kind of quicker because it's a super in-depth article. So if you're interested in more, go head over. So we have the Bass Capital, 9 of the best Denver EDM venues and clubs. So again, super long article, really in depth. If you're looking to learn about Denver EDM venues, go check this out. But some of the venues on this list include the Black Box, Cervantes Masterpiece Ballroom, Church Nightclub, Antaro Music Hall, Real Works, Mission Ballroom, Temple Nightclub, Ogden Theater, Your Mom's House, and that's all. But I wanted to note that Church, let's see, what's it called? Church Nightclub. Yeah, that is actually in a church. So it has all the stained glass and the raised ceilings, the vaulted ceilings. I definitely want to check that one out one day, but it seems super cool. So yeah, head over to Respect My Region for more information on that. And then lastly, we have just some music game that I wanted to just quickly go over. If you're an artist on this live stream, this is for you. Or an artist manager, or working with artists, or you just have artist friends, tell them. So how artists can utilize LinkedIn to advance their music careers. This is an article that I threw together on Respect My Region. So if you want to learn more in depth about using LinkedIn to advance your music career, head over to our website and read through this, but I'm just going to go over a quick glimpse of it. So a lot of artists and creatives don't think to go on LinkedIn, especially because it's seen more as like a really businessy platform for, industries such as like finance and tech and marketing and stuff like that. Like, that's what they initially think. But if you're trying to be a music artist, you are going into the music business, you're going into the music industry. It's a business. You have to be professional. So LinkedIn is most definitely the place for you. So if you're an artist and you're not on LinkedIn, do that ASAP, do that today. So let's see how LinkedIn can help advance your career as a music artist and how to utilize it. So first, you're going to want to kind of set up your profile, just fill it out, profile picture, bio, make it look professional, fill in your work experience, all of that. Once you do that, you're going to want to connect with people in the music industry. So think of publicists, record label executives, journalists, booking agents, marketers, lawyers, fellow artists, publications, people like us, anything. Think about the companies that you want to work with, the record labels that you might want to be assigned to, and look those up in the search bar and add people that are working for those companies. And then from there, you're going to want to interact. You're going to want to engage, comment on their stuff, like their stuff. After you've kind of been doing that for a little and you think you want to reach out to them for whatever reason, you can do that, but make sure that whatever you're reaching out for them for, you're reaching out for them to them respectfully and with intentions, and you're being clear and direct, and make sure you're not asking for too much. Don't just be like, hey, you're on this record label, can you sign me, or can you listen to my music and maybe sign me? Like, you want to be building a relationship. You don't want to just be asking for a favor. Next, you're going to want to post and stay active. So this has to do with engaging. Not just, you want to engage and comment on other people's stuff, but you want to post your own stuff as well. So then those people will come back and engage with your stuff. So update or ideas for LinkedIn posts include updates on projects, new releases, collaborations when you're working in the studio. So you can put pictures and videos, music advice / game, events such as concerts or meet and greets, questions that open up a discussion. This one's a really good one. Polls, or lastly, professional or on-brand pictures of yourself. There's so many other things you can do, but those are just some ideas. Next up, you can find opportunities and resources on LinkedIn. So if you have a great network built up on LinkedIn, you'll see their stuff, and you'll see stuff that they're interacting with, and you'll see their connections and what they're posting. So LinkedIn will show you like second connections and third connections. So through all of this, you'll be able to come across so many opportunities and different resources on your timeline. So this could be for jobs, media coverage opportunities, jobs that are hiring, collaboration opportunities, contests, even like financial support. Like sometimes there's scholarships or artist release funds, stuff like that. Or you can find playlist opportunities or places to submit to record labels, and so on. There's so many opportunities on LinkedIn. You seriously have to get on LinkedIn if you're an artist. Also, you can get free advice from professionals. So tons of professionals and executives are posting, quick lessons on the industry or different things within the industry. Joey and Mitch of Respect My Region, they do the same thing, mostly in the cannabis industry, but every once in a while you'll find some music game on there. But also they just kind of post some life game here and there too. So connect with Joey Bravo and Mitch Pfeiffer on LinkedIn, and you'll find some game there. And you might see who they're interacting with too, which could also provide you more game there. You can also connect with me, Hannah Gershowitz. So you can also see successful people's journeys. So oftentimes you'll see people just talking about the paths that they took in the industry, which may not be as easy as you think. You might think that getting into the industry, you might see it one way. You might be like, oh, they came from money or they came from a good family and then they just got it. But then you'll see on LinkedIn and they'll describe their journey and how they got there and the grind. And it'll show you that your grind is worth it and that you have to do the grind to get to where you are, stuff like that. Also, just learning about the industry, learning different news, learning about different people, about different things, about new music, etc., etc. And it just helps to like build your image, your professional image, and SEO. It helps when people are searching you online. And then from there, doing all of that, you can reach potential fans. So LinkedIn's not the place to go on to just kind of like beg for fans. But if you're being active and doing the right things, you could naturally gain fans on there. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I don't know if I ran a little over on time, so apologize.
It doesn't even matter because we're good to go. You shared so much great game there, and I really appreciate everything that you curated and brought to the table for us today. As always, lots of great insights. We've got some good updates coming from the world of cannabis, some good music ones. You added sports in there this week. Let's go.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time. Everybody who hangs out with us and watches these episodes, we really appreciate it. This is the first 6 episodes of the Morning Joint podcast. By the time Hannah and I get to 6,000, it's going to be crazy.
I don't know if I'll be able to stand you by then.
I know. Well, hopefully, you and I, we're in different states and cities, smoking different terps in different places, and some of them hopefully are higher up. Wouldn't be that bad to do the morning joint from a rooftop in the warmth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
come over to Savannah. I mean,
hey, well, I'm trying to get us down to Florida. I'm trying to get us up to New York.
Yeah,
in the
come to
summer,
Florida. Weed's not legal in Savannah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, we can always. Rumor has it New York is lit right now for all the different traditional market brands, so we got to get up there anyway soon. So, but yeah, everybody, thank you again for hanging out. This was the Morning Drum Podcast, episode 6, featuring Hannah Gershowitz, me, Joey J. Ping Bravo. This content was produced primarily, and basically only by Hannah. So big shout out to you, Hannah. For hanging out. We've got our co-producer here, Collin, hanging out in the back, making sure we don't mess anything up with lighting and lighters, because I'm always forgetting something. So thank you guys for hanging out. Make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe. Please talk some shit in the comments. Share this if you found it interesting. And last but not least, make sure you guys go add Hannah on LinkedIn. Gershowitz, spelled Gershowitz. Hannah, first name 2 N's, 2 H's. Tap in. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hannah!
Peace out.